Live.
Good morning and welcome to General Finance for June 1st, 2026. Let's go to number one, attendance roll call. Go ahead.
Carrie Bomberry, Dale
Helen.
Womberry,
Here, Chief.
Hazel Johnson.
Elena Van Every.
Cynthia Jameson.
Online.
Audrey Paulus Bomberry.
Counselor Leslie Green.
Okay. Let's go to number two. Any changes or deletions to the agenda? If not, can I have a mover? Moved by Carrie, seconder. Second by Helen. All in favor? Anybody opposed? See none, carried. Let's go to number three, adoption of the general finance minutes for May 4th, 2026. Is there a mover? Moved by Hazel, seconder. Is there a seconder? Second by Carrie. All in favor? Anybody opposed? See none, carried. Okay, before we get started, I just want to introduce the new Chief Operating Officer, Jill Hill. Welcome, Jill, on your first day. You're welcome. So let's go to number four, delegations and presentations. Six Nations Polytechnic. Yeah. Good morning, Matt and Stevie.
Good morning.
So you're with the Six Nations Polytechnic?
Correct.
Yes, that's right.
Is there anyone else?
No, not today.
No? Okay. Okay, welcome, and the floor is yours.
Scanos Luego, Yantihizak Nigiaso, Ganyata ni Wagashanta, Ganyak Kyono ni Wakwanzadat, SNPO Dr. Hunita Gay Agrihode, Ne Costisto, De Ohagi Indigenous Knowledge Center, University Programs NEAT, Ganyak Kyono, Gayakono, ni Gidewayasta. So good morning, everyone. My name is Stevie Jonathan. I am Mohawk Nation, Turtle Clan from Six Nations of the Grand River. I am currently the Senior Associate Dean of the Indigenous Knowledge Center and our university programs at Six Nations Polytechnic.
And good morning, everybody. My name is Matt Ferlin. I'm the Director of Advancement at Six Nations Polytechnic. And today we're here to follow up on a briefing note that we had put forth with regards to support for an upcoming funding application that we've been working on collectively for the Multiculturalism and Anti-Racism Program. The acronym is MARP or MARP, and it's the events component. And I'll turn things over to Maggie, who's just joined us.
everyone. My name is Maggie Glant. I'm the Executive Assistant to the President at Six Nations Polytechnic.
Okay, welcome. So is there anything?
Thank you so much. So our purpose of joining today is to request a letter of support for the grant that Matt has mentioned. This grant funding application will help support our efforts in delivering the Indigenous Language Day conference that we deliver annually on March 31st. Approximately 250 registrants attend that event annually, and it's a really great opportunity for our community to come together, learn about best practices in language revitalization. And the second event is also the Haudenosaunee Indigenous Knowledge and Research Conference, which we used to have annually in November. It was previously titled Champions for Change or other events such as that. And we stopped delivering that since after COVID. Some things had shifted, obviously, and we just never had the funding opportunity to deliver that conference again because they can be quite expensive in terms of event planning. So we're doing some alternative fundraising efforts. Matt often leads the way in that. So I'm here to help support. And then from my side, I usually am responsible for the planning and delivery of the conferences.
Okay, anything else?
And I'd just like to touch on the application itself is requesting letters of support from community partners and event partners. And we just felt that the council's letter of support would bring tremendous value to our organization's application, as we always want to put our best foot forward and put forth a high quality application when we are submitting any of these types of funding applications. And we truly value the benefit that the council's endorsement would bring.
I
Okay,
see Audrey has a
go ahead,
question.
Audrey.
I was going to make a motion that we support you with a letter.
So the motion
Now,
is,
Audrey.
the motion says therefore be resolved that the Six Nations of the Grand River 59th elected council approve the recommendation of providing political advocacy in the form of a letter in support of the Six Nations Polytechnic application to, and I think the MARP needs to be spelt out, to provide funding for the community events. So it's been moved by Audrey, second by Amos. Any questions or comments? Go ahead, Dale.
Good morning, folks. I was just wondering if there was a dollar amount that you're applying for. And secondly, if there was a copy of a draft letter, I didn't see one in our Dropbox for the chief to sign.
I can touch on the first question. So the application is that we're submitting forth. The events are roughly about a $30,000 cost to SNP per event per year. It's a 2-year application. So roughly about $30,000 per event is what we have as a budget. And then Maggie, are you able to touch on the letter, the link?
Of course. The letter was sent to, I believe, Brooke and Shirley as an attachment to the briefing note. So I'm not sure if it went to your Dropbox or not.
Shirley, go ahead. Shirley's checking to see where it's at. Is there any other questions or comments? Go ahead, Helen.
I have a comment, but my question, I guess, is why are all these programs requesting CALT to write a letter of support? Do they not trust the people that are applying? Like, why do they do that? They do it to everyone, and they shouldn't be doing it. That's discrimination. That these people all have to come back to council and get a letter of support in order to access, what, $30,000, I think she said. It's crazy. Everybody does it, but why are they having to do that? We need.
So I can shed a little bit of light onto that from my perspective, again, being the individual who's working with funders and donors. It seems as though a lot of grants and funding opportunities are being inundated and overwhelmed with applications. So I think these types of letters of support help organizations to stand out and score a more stronger outcome with regards to their application that they've submitted, put forth. And it's just a way to help to differentiate, I think, the strength of the different applications that are put forth, because they have so many strong qualified applications where we ourselves, will constantly, receive an unfortunate outcome, and it's not due to the strength of our application, but it's due to the volume that was received.
I think just to add to that too, I welcome the letter of support requirement because, as Matt said, a lot of these programs get funding applications from across Canada, right? And if we're an Indigenous organization putting forth an application and have support from our community, this letter of support kind of ensures that Indigenous funding is going to Indigenous peoples and organizations, because sometimes there are non-Indigenous organizations applying for this funding. So this is just a measure that I welcome to ensure that that funding meets the right communities.
Follow up, Helen?
Well, I think you're missing the point. The point is it's only Indians that have to do that. The city of Brantford, I guarantee you, doesn't spend time writing letters of support for people that want to access grant money. It's only First Nations people that have to do that. Get a political body to support. I agree there's a lot of good reasons for support letters, but what I'm saying is, why are they only making First Nations people council support all of these applications when they shouldn't have to? Because you won't be able to get the grant if you don't get council support. That's the bottom line. That's the one I'm arguing against, is people can't get this grant money without council support.
Go ahead, Cynthia.
I was just going to note that letter, the draft, it's at the end of the briefing note. If you go right to the bottom.
Did you get it, Dale? So it's been moved and seconded. All in favor? Anybody opposed? See none, carried. Waive second reading. Moved by Audrey. Second by Amos. All in favor? Anybody opposed? See none, carried. Okay. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Have a great day, Ona.
Okay, let's go to number 5, Built Environment, Climate Adaptation, Lands and Membership Committee. It was moved by Hazel Johnson and seconded by Elena Van Avery that the Built Environment, Climate Adaptation, Lands and Membership Committee recommends to the Six Nations of the Grand River 59th Elected Council to approve the following. Whereas the Six Nations Public Works Department oversees the Roads Department, who are responsible for winter road maintenance within the Six Nations of the Grand River community. Whereas the Roads Department requires materials, specifically a 3-1 ratio pickled sand and salt mix and straight salt as part of their winter road maintenance. Therefore, the Six Nations Public Works Department had budgeted $300,000 for the expense of 2025 to 2026 operation and maintenance budget based on historical quantities. Whereas the Six Nations of the Grand River Elected Council approve Waterford Sand and Gravel Limited to supply us with sand salt at an upset limit of $309,945. Whereas the total amount invoiced by Waterford Sand and Gravel Limited for this material exceeds this upset limited due to an overall worse winter season, which resulted in the use of more material for winter road maintenance. Therefore, be resolved that the Built Environment Climate Adaptation Lands and Membership Committee recommends that the Six Nations of the Grand River 59th Elected Council approve to increase the 2025-2026 sand and salt supply contract with Waterford Sand and Gravel Limited to $362,867.79. Source of funds identified as the Six Nations Public Works 2025-26 O&M budget. So it's been moved and seconded. Any questions or comments? See none. All in favor? Anybody opposed? See none. Carried. Let's go to number 5.2. Six Nations of the Grand River 59th Elected Council approve second reading. Is there a mover? Moved by Dale. Seconder? Second by Hazel. All in favor? Anybody opposed? See none. Carried. Okay, let's go to 5.3. Go ahead, Helen.
I see we're allowing people to go over budget. That's why we're adding money to it, right? Normally with this money, they usually stay within budget. They don't go over budget and ask council to cover it, and that's what they're doing here. They normally stay within a budget with this money.
Go
Far
ahead,
as
Deb.
I understand.
Go ahead.
So
ahead, Deb.
Helen, this is for last year's budget, the 25-26 budget. And the reason it was more than expected is because of the winter season that we had. We can't predict that, but it is something they have to respond to.
Okay, let's go to 5.3. It's moved by Hazel Johnson and seconded by Elena Van Avery that the Built Environment Climate Adaptation Lands and Membership Committee recommends to the Six Nations of the Grand River 59th Elected Council to approve the following. Whereas Indigenous Service Canada provides an annual funding for Six Nations assets and education based on a formula which uses nominal roll and adjusts our population by approximately 60%. Whereas the Public Works, Housing Administration, Parks and Recreation, Information Technology Solutions Administration, and Fire departments have all had opportunities to put in their priorities forward. Whereas $103,612 will be allocated education and provided to the federal schools and school maintenance departments to address the priorities of the school principals and for equipment replacement. Whereas the requests for funding from departments far exceed the available funding, the Six Nations Finance facilitated the process to reduce the overall amount and identify the Development Corporation Management Agreement funds could cover the remaining shortfall. Therefore, it be resolved that the Six Nations of the Grand River 59th Elected Council approve to allocate the $1,297,512 of 2026-2027 First Nations Infrastructure Investment Plan Core based funding and $836,561.73 of the Development Corporation Management Agreement funds as follows. Housing, $200,000, Public Works, $750,000, Fire, $500,000, Parks and Recreation, $450,710.53, Education, $103,612, Administration fee, $129,751.20, a total of $2,134,073.73. Is there a mover? Oh, it's been moved and seconded. Any questions or comments? If not, all in favor? Anybody opposed? See none. Carried. Recommendation 5.4 to waive second reading. Is there a mover? Moved by Dale, second by Hazel. All in favor? Anybody opposed? See none, carried. Let's go to 5.5. Moved by Hazel Johnson, second by Elena Van Avery, that the Built Environment Climate Adaptation Lands and Membership Committee recommends to the Six Nations of the Grand River 59th Elected Council to approve the following. Whereas Indigenous Service Canada owns and is responsible for the 5 federal schools within Six Nations of the Grand River, which are Jameson, J.C. Hill, Emily C. General, I.L. Thomas, and Oliver M. Smith Elementary Schools. Whereas 3 of these federal schools, Emily C. General, I.L. Thomas, and Oliver M. Smith Elementary Schools, rely on peatland systems for on-site wastewater treatment. Whereas an assessment of these peatland systems completed in 2024 found that the peat media is at the end of its design life and requires immediate replacement. Whereas Indigenous Service Canada has committed to support this project, but requires a finalized project approval request submission signed by our chief as part of their capital approval process. Therefore, resolved that the Built Environment Climate Adaptation Lands and Membership Committee recommends that the Six Nations of the Grand River 59th Elected Council approve Chief Sherry Lynn Hill to sign the Indigenous Service Canada project approval request to finalize funding approval of $2,800,102 for the federal school peatland system upgrades project. So it's been moved and seconded. Any questions, comments? All in favor? Anybody opposed? See none, carried. Let's go to 5.6, waive second reading. Moved by Hazel, seconded by Dale. All in favor? Anybody opposed? See none, carried. Let's go to number 6, recommendation, Grand River Insurance Brokers. Okay. 7.1, whereas the Six Nations of the Grand River current insurance coverage is contracted with Grand River Insurance Brokers has been extended to March 31st, 2026 and is about to expire. Whereas the preparation and procurement process will require additional time and coverage to allow the adequate and comparable quotes. Whereas Six Nations of the Grand River 59th Council approve by ICGC number 292/03/26/2026 to make payment to the Grand River Insurance Bureau for an additional 1-year period to March 31st, 2027 at a cost of $1,673,576. Whereas an amendment invoice was received by following the in-camera general counsel on March 26, 2026, showing an increased cost of a premium of $1,763,500. Therefore, resolved that the Six Nations of the Grand River 59th Elected Council approves to pay the difference to the Grand River Insurance Brokers for increased premium of the comprehensive liability insurance for the 26-27 insurance year in the amount of $89,924 to be expensed to 44205/7,000. Is there a mover? It's a mouthful. Moved by Dale, seconder. Second by Hazel. Any questions or comments? See none, all in favor? Anybody opposed? See none, carried. Let's go recommendation 7.2 to waive second reading. Moved by Dale, second by Hazel. All in favor? Anybody opposed? See none, carried. Let's go to number 7, motion to adjourn to the in-camera. Is there a mover? Moved by Audrey, seconder. Second by Carrie. All in favor? Anybody opposed? See none? Carried. Thank you for joining us today and have a great day, everyone.